Supernova! 2 out of 3 national championships for the Villanova Wildcats. Jay Wright does it again, and the Villanova Wildcats taking down Michigan to claim another national title, their 3rd in program history. We are going to get to all that and more. Jay Alter's in Philadelphia with parade coverage, and you can check on @BigEastMBB throughout the day for interviews. Chris Jenkins from the parade, that's coming up. We welcome you to Big East Shootaround, a national championship recap show, as well as an exclusive with new Xavier head coach Travis Steele. And we are so excited to bring it to you. First, let's turn to Monday night in San Antonio, where the Villanova Wildcats trying to get the program's 3rd national championship, and it was Dante's Inferno that lit it up. What a performance for the 6th man for Villanova, coming in off the bench and delivering an all-timer for the Wildcats. 31 points, 10 of 15 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3 as well. I mean, how can you not be impressed? The most points off the bench for a player ever in a national championship game. Think about that. Most points for a reserve ever, and the most points in a game since 1989. That's when John Morden for Seton Hall went off for 35 against the Michigan Wolverines. And this time it's Dante Vincenzo in a winning effort for Villanova. What a performance by the sophomore. And you cannot say enough about the job that he did for this Villanova team, embracing his role and delivering on the biggest stage. Our Jay Alter was with him after the performance.
Dante, you go from watching this team win a national championship as a redshirt in 2016 to now being the most outstanding player in the 2018 national championship. How did you grow to match this moment?
A lot of failure at practice. Josh, every single day last year, just beat me up physically. Having to guard Jalen, having to guard Eric and Amari, just taught me so much, in my ability now to defend so many different positions is all credit to them, and just beat me up every day at practice.
When you entered the game, Michigan had a lot of momentum. They had a lead, crowd on their side. How did you change that and take this game for Villanova?
I mean, a lot of people are going to say offensively I was knocking down threes, but I think the biggest thing was just the energy defensively. I had a turnover, and I chased him down, and I got a block on the other end. And I think that momentum kind of like carried over in the second half.
When did you know you had it tonight?
That's a good question. I don't know. In the second half, I missed my first couple shots, and Jalen told me, he said, "Don't let up. Just keep going. Just keep being aggressive." And from there, I just took off. That's awesome. That's awesome because they knew how tough it was for me my freshman year not being able to play, and they know how hard I work off the court, and they know how much work I put in. And to see that, I just want to make them proud. That's all I want to do.
The NBA world was all over Villanova's national championship win. Blake Griffin, Dante Vincenzo holding it down for the Redheads. And then Mamba's got something to say. Josh Hart as well. What's better than one natty champ? How about 2? And even ESPN, LeBron James, he made himself a lot of money last night. And not because of the way he's shooting it. How about the defense for Dante Vincenzo? And then fly, Eagles, fly. It's been quite the year for Philadelphia. These parades are getting old. I mean, year of Philly right now between the Eagles and Villanova. Wow, that sports town is on fire with the Sixers lighting it up as well ahead of the playoffs. And folks, to put this in perspective, my takeaway on a couple of things. Number one is this. What's even more impressive than Villanova winning their 2nd national championship in 3 years is how they did it. In dominant fashion. Think about these things. Villanova won all 6 games by double digits, joining just 3 other teams. 09 North Carolina, 01 Duke, and then 2000 Michigan State. Just 3 others in winning all 6 games of the tournament by double digits. On top of that, the last team to win its 2 Final Four games by 16-plus points, get this, 1968, UCLA. 50 years since a team has dominated that much in the Final Four. And you have to go back to 1968. You have to go back to John Wooden. That's a dynasty. And that's what Villanova has formed here. They did it in different ways, too. They beat Kansas with 18 three-pointers. In the Elite Eight, they beat Texas Tech with defense. And then in this national championship game, they get it done with that same defense. They silenced Michigan in the final 4 minutes of the first half. And their sixth man comes off the bench and delivers 31 points after Eric Paschal goes 10 for 11 from the field in the Final Four. If you're an opposing coach, you prepare so much for Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, and Omari Spellman. And for the complementary pieces to do what they did, that's a sign of a championship team. And that's a sign of the dynasty that the Villanova Wildcats have formed. Here is Villanova University President Father Peter, as well as more Wildcats players with perspective on this championship win. I am with Villanova President Father Peter. And Father, how would you sum up this night?
Incredible, incredible. Just, it was almost surreal to be back here again, and I just couldn't believe it. Incredible.
How much has this program, now 2 national championships in 3 years, transformed the university?
It has, well, the first one did a lot. I can't imagine what this is going to do, so it's been great.
What made this team a champion from your vantage point?
They just care about each other. They do a wonderful job of supporting each other. It's all about the team. It's not about the individuals. They just are really a great group of guys, and they exemplify it in everything they say and do. So they're wonderful. You've been the standard in college basketball, and to come out of the Big East, what do you think it says about Villanova University? Beyond that, also the conference. I am so pleased to be a part of the Big East. It has been a wonderful experience for us. We have wonderful partners in this, 9 other wonderful teams. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of work that goes into it. So I'm very happy to be part of it. It's been a great experience for us. A great ride. Great ride.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
What made this group the Natty champs?
I mean, just sticking together the whole year. I mean, we just did a great job of that. I mean, we have some great players, we great teammates, and I mean, we're just blessed to be here.
You won all 6 games in this NCAA tournament by double digits. What was it about the way you guys were playing in these last 3 weeks that made it possible?
I think the fact that we weren't worried about trying to win by double digits, and we were just worried about what we can do to play our best basketball, and that's a good stat for like the historics, but for us, man, we would be just as happy if we won all those games by 1 point. As long as this was the end result, we would be happy.
I mean, it's just the group is so unselfish. I mean, nobody has an ego on this team. Nobody cares who gets the credit. And I think it's just a testament to how hard these guys worked and how unselfish they were all year. Jalen, Phil, and Mikal were great leaders as captains. I mean, Eric was huge. Omari he's grown so much since the beginning of the year defensively, and Dante's been himself. I mean, he's just they're all special players, and this team is a special team.
How fitting is it for the 6th man on your team, Dante Vincenzo, to charge you tonight?
For us, it's nothing new, man. We see what he does every day in practice, and you know he's an unbelievable person, unbelievable player, and he showed up tonight, and we needed it big time tonight.
Man, we know he could kill. He's a killer like that, man, and he just came out and showed it, man, and he just kind of put us on his back, man. And I'm just proud of him. He showed what he can do. We all knew he could do it, and he just showed the world that he's that good, and I'm just so happy for him.
How much do you two, if you could speak further about that, Bon, how much did you talk to each other about? Because you guys both had to grow in this system from, being in a backseat role to, being at the top of this team. Have you guys talked about that and grown off that?
Yeah, we've talked about it a little bit, but I think it was a great feeling to know that hey, no matter what's happening on the court, no matter who's playing, no matter what's going on individually, we're all in this together and we're all sticking together. So obviously we're proud of each other. Obviously we always have each other's backs. But I mean, there was things always being said about how can we make this team the best team we can be and not really focus on ourselves. And we just found ways to do that.
So let's take a look at the 2 national championship runs in the last 3 years. Obviously, the thing that stands out is 2016, the buzzer beater over North Carolina, compared to this year, just a dominant win over Michigan. But the Wildcats ran their way through. You see those consecutive victories. They rolled past Iowa, then beat a tough Miami team, and then the signature win in my book is the Kansas win. When they found a way to get through the Jayhawks, making it to the Final Four, you're thinking, what can we expect from this Villanova team? Because they haven't won a national championship since 1985. Well, what they did to Buddy Hield in Oklahoma, oh my goodness. They showed why they belonged. And then in the national championship game, incredible. And at the end of the day, average margin of victory was over 20. So they were able to control the early rounds. Remember that narrative of they can't get it done in the first weekend? Well, they put that to bed. And then this year, your average margin of victory is actually slightly smaller, but they just beat everybody by 12 to 20 points, if not more. Just incredible what they did against West Virginia and Texas Tech in different fashions. And I think this whole tournament shifted for Villanova in the Sweet 16. When they're down 6 with 11 minutes to go to the Mountaineers and put together a 2-minute 11-0 run. Jay Wright's team did not look back from that point forward. And what they did in dominating this tournament, it should not be this easy. It's not supposed to be this easy. And they're one of the favorites entering next year. Is 3 or 4 a possibility? Absolutely it is. Which one is more impressive, though? R.J. Alter was in Philadelphia. 2016, 2018? Let's talk to Big Smooth Chris Jenkins.
You never know who you're going to run into in the streets of Philadelphia. Villanova great Chris Jenkins celebrating in the Wildcats championship parade. And Chris, I've got to ask you, how has it been different this national championship watching as an alum and a fan opposed to playing and making big plays?
Yeah, you know, when you're playing, you have an impact on the game. But, you know, as a fan, when you're watching, you're just a proud alumni, and you just want the guys to go out there and represent the program well, which they did. So, no, that's just the biggest adjustment.
What were you telling the guys as they were making this run, having gone through it just 2 years earlier, giving them advice?
I mean, they've been through it. You know, they were part of the team when we won the championship in 2016. They'd done it before. So that was just my message. Like, you know, you guys are elite. You've been here before. You know what to do. And I expect y'all to go out here and take care of business.
It didn't take a big shot like yours in 2016. Is that almost better? No drama? Villanova just wiping the floor with all 6 opponents in the tournament?
Yeah, for us, we want no drama. At least amount of drama as possible. But for everyone else, you know, they love the drama. So I'm pretty sure they would say our what we did was better. But I like how these guys handled it in fashion, winning and dominating.
All right, 2016 team versus 2018 team in a scrimmage. Who wins? It's a tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough one because these guys are really, really good, and they're tough, they're versatile. They would have gave us a lot of problems, but we also would have gave them some problems too with certain matchups. But I'm going to say yes because, you know, we were kind of the teachers, and we taught those guys a lot of things, and they picked it up and they elevated. So it definitely would have been a battle, but usually when the teacher plays the student,
we know what happens. We know what happens. Last question for you. Everyone's been talking about Villanova turning into a blue blood, a dynasty. You started that. You helped build that. When you hear pundits talking about it, how much pride do you have that you helped Villanova elevate this program, bring in 2 national titles in a 3-year span?
Yeah, you know, it's just a credit to the coaching staff, the guys that played even before us. And they set the foundation for our program, and it was just us to carry it and elevate it the best way that we could. So for people to give us the respect that we deserve, I feel we deserve, and hopefully we can continue to trend in the right direction.
Thanks, Chris. Great to see you.
No, thanks for having me.
The celebration is well underway in Philadelphia, and it's not ending anytime soon. Villanova's campus was lively on Monday night, and now the parade. On the big bus, there's Father Peter and the team, Coach Wright rocking the shades. Villanova riding through Philadelphia. Market Street is so pumped up right now. The year of the parade in Philly, and now it's Nova Nation out and about, showing their pride for a 2nd national title in 3 years in downtown Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. It's painted with Villanova today. and really cool to see for this program and what they've done in the Big East, setting the standard in this conference, 5 years since reconfiguration, and now in college basketball. You can't say much more. I run out of superlatives with this program, that's for sure. Well, that's not the only Big East news we got going on. There's a new addition to the Big East coaching family. The next man in line was an assistant for 9 years. Now, the Xavier Musketeers, it's Travis Steele's program. Our Paul Frischner catches up with a one-on-one with the new Xavier head coach.
You know, when I met with Mr. Christopher in San Antonio, I talked about the 2%. Like, where can we go from here? Because obviously we got a great program and a great product here at Xavier University. But before I start to talk about the 2%, I want to talk about that first 98% and what got us here. And what got us here is a lot of people. A lot of people have put their sweat, their tears, their blood, and have sacrificed for this program. And I'm talking about the former players. We've had a lot of terrific ones in the past. I see Joe Sunderman out here. I see Byron Larkin out there as well. We've had terrific players, terrific teams, terrific coaches here. Coaches go from Pete Gillen, Bob Stack, Skip Prosser, Chris Mack, Sean Miller, Thad Mata. We've had a lot of terrific coaches. And I want to say thank you to you guys for getting us to this point. How do we get to that 2%? It's like climbing a mountain, and that's what I talked about with Greg, and I feel like that's what Xavier's done for a long time. And we're going upwards. Every coach has made Xavier a better place than it was before. And that's my responsibility, and it's a huge responsibility that's on my shoulders. We want to do things the right way. That's a non-negotiable. We want to be compliant in everything that we do. We want to graduate our players, and we want to compete for Big East regular season championships, Big East tournament championships, and obviously, and it's the elephant in the room, go where Xavier's never been before in the NCAA tournament.
Paul Frischner with new Xavier head coach Travis Steele. Travis, you come into this program having already been here for 9 years as an assistant coach. You take a lot of that and apply it to being now a head coach, but how are you going to put your own spin on things as the head program manager here?
I'm going to be a little bit different than Chris. I have a different personality. And the one thing Sean Miller told me when he gave a piece of advice when I got the job is like, just be you. And be who you are, be genuine, care about the players, show them that you love them. And I told those guys in our first team meeting, even though I'm becoming a head coach, I may have a different title, I'm going to stay the same person. I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to be very demanding. I'm going to push you to be better than you think you can even be. But at the same time, I'm going to show that I love you and I care you, and I'm always going to have an open door policy with my office.
You join a great legacy of coaches in the Big East. What does it mean to you to now be a head coach in one of the premier basketball conferences in the country?
Yeah, I think Xavier is I think the Big East is the premier conference in the country. You think about Villanova's won 2 national titles in the last 3 years. We play in Madison Square Garden, which is the greatest arena in the world. It's an incredible league. There's great coaches, great players, great teams. It means everything. I mean, we are competing at the highest level of college basketball. And I always tell our guys, like, if we can put ourselves in positions to win the Big East, then we're putting ourselves in position to win a national title. And that's been shown by what Villanova's done.
Now, on the court, what's one thing that the fans should expect out of you?
I think we're going to be competitive. We're going to be tough. And that's just who Xavier's always been, like since I watched them. They've always have guys that have an edge and play with a chip on their shoulder. And, we haven't necessarily got the 5-star guys, but we've gotten guys that are just as talented, got to be developed, but guys that are tough and have an edge to them.
Off the court, what's one thing that fans might not know about you that you think would be the most important for them?
I think I'm fairly funny, kind of depending upon who you probably talk to. I'm very lighthearted, easygoing. I'll be very visible, obviously, in the community, in the Xavier community. I live in Hyde Park, which is nice and close as well, so I'm always out and about.
Now, you're from Indiana, but you've been here for a while here in Ohio. Do you have any opinion on Skyline Chili?
Love Skyline Chili. I eat there probably twice a week at the Oakley one. Yeah. My son can't stop eating it. I'm just telling you, he is obsessed with it, so we go at least twice a week.
Xavier fans will be happy to know that, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Coach, anything else that you think that Xavier fans can expect to see out of your team come the first game in November?
Yeah, we're going to be hard playing. We're going to be the hardest playing team on the floor. We're going to be the most together team on the floor. And like I said, I think we could be the best defensive team we've ever had here at Xavier next year.
Coach, congratulations. Looking forward to next season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
How can you not love him, Xavier Nation? He's a Skyline Chili connoisseur. What else about Travis Steele? Let's get to know him. 10 seasons at Xavier and 9 under Chris Mack. And then he has Big East ties, being a Butler graduate. And while the Dogs are a newer member of the conference, still shows that when he goes to Hinkle Fieldhouse, definitely a place that is close to his heart. And that's a rivalry that has grown in this new conference between Xavier and Butler. And now it's Travis Steele's program as he takes over at Xavier. And he even said yesterday, folks, I'll be out recruiting today. So he is hard at work, that's for sure. Elsewhere in the Big East, tomorrow night you can tune in on the ESPN family of networks to the Hoop Hall Awards. Big East players are up for several of them. Look at this loaded list, and it's tomorrow night. It's on ESPN2. The big thing that stands out here is 3 finalists for the Julius Erving Award. Trayvon Blewett of Xavier, Butler's Keelan Martin, Villanova's Mikal Bridges, and then you got Marcus Foster for the Jerry West. Of course, Jalen Brunson's not only up for the Bob Cousy Award, but the Wooden Award, and that will complete the clean sweep of the national awards. And then don't forget about number 31, Pirate fans. Angel Delgado's up for the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Award. He is the Big East all-time leading rebounder. Now, can he put the exclamation point on his career? You'll have to tune in to find out. That's tomorrow night. It's on ESPN2, and that's being broadcast from Los Angeles. Well, folks, it has been quite a year of Big East Shoot-Around, and we want to let you know you can go to @BigEastMBB on Twitter throughout the rest of the day for full coverage from the parade. Jay Alter talked to Jay Wright and several others, and this show will continue here. We're not done here, folks. Big East Hoops is all year long, so we'll be checking in with you throughout the off-season with live shows and much more. We've got NBA draft coverage, of course. We'll be back with that, and several other off-season storylines and conversations with the coaches and players that you can continue to get to know them beyond just the court. That's what we like to give you on Big East Shoot-Around. But we roll you out with this. Villanova, another national championship. The culmination point of an outstanding year in the conference, and it ends with Villanova at the top of the college basketball world. This is one of the great dynasties in sports now with what they've done these last 5 years, particularly the last 3 years. And there it is, soaking it all in. Jalen Brunson, the National Player of the Year. And does it get better than that, folks? The Wildcats are your national champions again. They get it done, and we're all done here on Big East Shoot-Around. Thanks for watching, folks. Enjoy your weekend.